Welcome to the HFY Tales channel. Remember to like and subscribe if you like the story. Enjoy and take care. Jake Evans was just another face in the chaotic sea of New York City, where dreams often collided with the unforgiving realities of life. It was a late afternoon, the sun casting a golden hue over the streets, and Jake was trudging home after yet another grueling day at his advertising firm. He felt hollow, drained by corporate demands that seemed to swallow his creativity. As he navigated through the shifting throngs of people, a strange sensation prickled at the base of his neck, a gut instinct that something was incredibly wrong. Rounding a corner, the world exploded into blinding light. The sensation was suffocating, like being enveloped in a cosmic embrace that stripped him of all sense of reality. Panic swelled in his chest, and then darkness swallowed him whole. When he came to, he was lying on a cold metallic floor, disoriented and trembling. Squinting against the artificial light, he realized he was not on a city street or in his own apartment. He was aboard an alien spaceship, the air thick with a staleness he couldn't place. Around him, towering beings with translucent skin and glowing eyes studied him with cold curiosity. Torvians, he would later learn. Their arrogance radiated from every sharp feature as they eyed him like a curious insect. "Specimen acquired," one announced with a melodic ring that felt uncomfortably clinical. Fear coiled tightly in Jake's gut as he scrambled backward. "What do you want from me?" he croaked, desperation threading through his voice. "You will serve as bait," the creature replied, unfazed. "We require a creature from your species to lure a powerful beast on our hunting expedition. You will distract it while we capture it." "What? No! You can't do this!" Jake shouted, infused with the wild pulse of fear and anger. Thoughts raced through his mind. His family, his friends, the normalcy of life he had taken for granted. "I won't allow myself to be treated like this. I am not a plaything." "Resistance is futile," another Torvian replied, its gaze devoid of empathy, echoing the very threat of death. Panic surged within him. Then, just as quickly, a fierce determination ignited in his chest. He wouldn't go down without a fight. He wouldn't let them take him so easily. Scrambling to formulate an escape plan, Jake realized he had to bide his time and look for any opportunity that could turn this nightmare into a strategy for survival. When the airlock opened, Jake was abruptly ejected onto the alien planet with a painful thud, the soft, mossy ground hardly cushioning his fall. He lay there, struggling to catch his breath, blinking at a sky painted in flamboyant shades of lavender and green. The two suns loomed overhead, casting unusual shadows that danced across the breathtaking landscape. Pushing himself upright, he took in the surreal environment, towering trees with glossy violet trunks, iridescent flowers glowing softly as if sharing secrets of the universe, and strange creatures darting through the foliage. Everything was both beautiful and terrifying. Though awe filled his heart, it soon darkened as a low rumble echoed through the landscape. Jake's instincts kicked in. "Get up! Get up!" he shouted internally, propelling himself toward a nearby thicket just as the sound of roaring approached. It emerged from the underbrush, a creature that seemed to defy reality. Massive, fur-covered, and predatory, it was like a nightmarish echo of a lion and bear fused into one. The beast's eyes glowed with urgency and hunger, locking onto him. "Stay away!" he yelled, adrenaline coursing through his veins. Panic gripped him as he turned to flee, feeling the ground tremble beneath the creature's powerful strides. Jake sprinted through the twisting thicket, thrashing branches and vines whipping against his skin. His heartbeat echoed in his ears as he darted left and right, trying to lose the predator hot on his tail. The beast charged, its powerful silhouette looming large against the vibrant colors of the jungle. As he plunged deeper into the foliage, Jake spotted a colossal tree with gnarled branches stretching out like supportive arms. Without thinking, he lunged upward, scrambling to the lowest branch just as the beast barreled past. He clung to the bark, breathing heavily, heart racing. From his vantage point, Jake watched the creature prowling below, muscles rippling as its heavy breaths escaped in low, dangerous growls. This alien world had transformed his sense of reality. Just days ago, he was selling new campaigns. Now, he was engaged in a life-or-death struggle in the wilderness. But as the chill of fear threatened to seep in again, something stirred within him, a flicker of resolve. "I won't let this be the end," he vowed softly, heart thudding with a newfound clarity. Days passed in this wild landscape, and Jake learned to adapt. If he wanted to survive, he needed to understand its secrets. He began foraging for food, using instincts he never knew he possessed. Curiosity began to override panic as he explored exotic plants, discovering edible roots and colorful fruits, and formed rudimentary traps. But even as he embraced the wonder of his surroundings, loneliness clung to him. Each night the vastness of the stars reminded him of Earth, of family and friends he yearned to return to. "There has to be a way out of here," he whispered to himself, pressing a hand against the rough bark of the tree where he slept, searching for comfort in the cold dark through hope. Days rolled into an exhilarating yet exhausting blur, filled with dangers and marvels alike. Jake honed his instincts, learning the rules of this planet, adapting to its rhythms, and mastering the art of survival. Each rustle of leaves invited both fear and wonder. As he ventured deeper into the jungle one sunny day, Jake felt a rush of bravery. He pushed past his growing anxiety, determined to explore territories unknown. In search of food, he ventured further than ever before, desperate to find something substantial to sustain him. Suddenly, from the corner of his eye, he caught a glimpse of a massive shadow darting across his path, the very shadow that haunted his dreams. Heart racing, Jake turned to face it only to realize, to his shock, that it was Shadow. The creature that had once filled him with dread now appeared as a formidable ally. But before Jake could process this unexpected encounter, an even larger predator emerged from the dense underbrush, a terrifying embodiment of menace. It bore down on them with a roar that echoed like thunder, a creature woven from nightmares, larger than anything Jake had ever seen. Panic surged through Jake as instinct kicked in. "We have to work together," he shouted, adrenaline flooding his system as he rallied his newfound friend. In an exhilarating flash, Shadow lunged toward the approaching beast, muscles coiling and ready to strike, while Jake sprang into action with newfound confidence. They were now allies against an even greater threat. "Let's do this," Jake shouted, wielding a makeshift spear fashioned from a sharp branch. Together, they thrust into action, a force of primal energy working in unison. With an intensity born from sheer survival, they fought valiantly. Shadow led the charge, striking with power, while Jake circled behind with defensive strikes. Their movements synchronized, displaying an incredible bond formed through shared experiences. Jake could feel the thunder of their combined heartbeat resonate in the air, echoing the struggles they had both faced. With fierce determination, they pushed back against the formidable predator, dodging and swiping as chaos unfolded around them. After a moment of furious effort, they combined their strength, leading to the creature's retreat, Shadow retreating into the thick brush, defeated. Breathless from the ordeal, Jake turned to Shadow, astonishment shining bright in his eyes. "You saved my life!" he gasped, even as he struggled to catch his breath. In that staggering moment, something profound occurred. Not only had their bond deepened, but they had become more than mere allies. They were companions, forged in the fires of adversity, with a shared purpose. "From now on, you're my friend," Jake declared, a sense of pride swelling within him. As he gazed into Shadow's intelligent eyes, he knew their lives were intertwined. Together they would prevail and navigate whatever perils awaited in this uncharted territory. Weeks turned into a tapestry of endurance, and the bond between Jake and Shadow solidified with every passing moment. They had formed a partnership that went beyond mere survival. They were a team. The jungle morphed from an oppressive labyrinth into a stage for exploration, an exhilarating life filled with endless possibilities. Every evening, they found solace beneath a gleaming canopy of stars, where stories, laughter, and companionship flowed freely like a gentle stream. "You won't believe what the city was like," Jake would say, tossing a piece of roasted tuber to Shadow. "Imagine a million faces rushing around and yet somehow no one takes the time to connect. It's lonely, tragic even." He would glance at Shadow, who listened intently, its head cocked as if genuinely pondering the complexities of human life. Their evenings proved cathartic as they shared their tales from their respective lives, anchoring hope amidst the often overwhelming uncertainty that surrounded them. Each passing day, Jake enthusiastically taught Shadow simple commands, his voice filled with an infectious optimism. Words like stay and come began to take root within their interactions, turning into cherished moments filled with connection. But one fateful evening, the tranquility shattered like glass. A deep rumbling echoed through the trees, the world vibrating with an unseen energy. Jake's instincts flared instantly. The sensation was a warning. Shadows flickered ominously around them, a prelude to impending danger. "Something approaches," Jake murmured, urgency threading through his voice. He scanned the dense foliage, heart racing, every instinct screaming for them to be ready. "Prepare yourself, Shadow. We don't know what's out there." Jake felt his body tense, and he noticed Shadow emit a low, rolling growl, every muscle coiled in readiness to defend their makeshift territory. The air vibrated with uncertainty, an unspoken understanding bonding them in that moment. A partnership forged through shared threats and brushes with mortality. And then, the unseen creature burst through the underbrush, revealing itself in a glorious display of colors and chaos. Its wild fur glinting under the fading light, eyes locked on them with predatory intent. "Together!" Jake yelled, pulling Shadow closer as the colossal figuration charged like an unstoppable force. Their lives were intertwined in an unpredictable dance of survival. Together, they prepared to fight as allies against a common enemy. With unyielding determination coursing through their veins, they sprang into action. Jake wielded his branch like a warrior, striking hard as Shadow leaped with graceful agility, its powerful limbs moving with intention. The weight of their united purpose ignited an exhilarating strength within them. As the chaos unfolded, Jake could feel the electric energy of their bond radiate through the air. Each action they took was fueled by resilience and trust, showcasing the dynamic partnership that had blossomed amid adversity. In the heated moment of battle, Jake understood that they were not just two beings fighting to stay alive. They were allies, forming a formidable force against the chaos surrounding them. With one final effort, they launched an overwhelming attack, forcing the predator to retreat, the echoes of its growls fading into the distance. Panting, they stood tall against the backdrop of twinkling stars. "That was incredible!" Jake exclaimed, breath hitched in awe as he glanced at Shadow. "You saved me yet again." Realization dawned on him. Their partnership had transformed. No longer were they solely struggling to survive. They had built a friendship and camaraderie that blossomed through every encounter, every heart-stopping moment. "I'll call you Shadow," Jake declared firmly, a sense of pride bursting within him. Shadow had transformed from a foe into a partner, embodying the resilience that would carry them both through this uncharted territory. Even as Jake settled into life in the wild, a burning desire for freedom simmered just beneath the surface. Though he had cultivated an extraordinary friendship with Shadow, the persistent thought of escaping this alien planet clung to his mind like a stubborn vine. "We can't remain here forever," he confided one night, lying under a star-speckled canopy, sketching ideas in the soil beneath them as he spoke. With a glimmer of hope igniting within his heart, he drew outlines of a possible escape route leading to the Torvian ship. "If we can finesse our way to that ridge over there," he pointed toward the distant elevation that climbed toward the heavens, "we might be able to slip past any patrols unnoticed and regain access to their ship." Shadow growled softly in agreement, its gaze fixed on the ridge, which stood as a beacon of hope, symbolizing their chance for liberation from the wild. Days unfolded into meticulous ventures of observation as Jake navigated the complex patterns of the Torvians. He scrutinized their habits from hidden vantage points during their routine excursions. "I think we can do this," he murmured to Shadow, excitement filling his chest as he noted the creature's movements and weaknesses. Together they were strategic partners, searching for materials, efficient ropes woven from vines, collecting edible plants, and crafting tools made from stones and sharp flint. Each task was imbued with purpose and urgency, as Jake trained Shadow to assist in gathering essential supplies for their daring escape. "Tomorrow," he declared with fervor, excitement coursing through his veins like fire. "We'll finally make our move." That night was infused with anticipation. Jake felt invigorated, the thrill of adventure swirling within his spirit. "We're going to do this, Shadow," he whispered, nuzzling his companion, gaining strength from their unyielding bond as they prepared for their journey ahead. When dawn broke, they were ready for action. Stealthily weaving through the alien terrain, they advanced toward the ridge, each cautious step infused with a determination to reclaim their freedom and discover a way to safety. As they scaled the ridge, hearts synchronized. Jake recalled the stakes. He had come too far to falter now. Failure was not an option. "Just a little further," he whispered, the thrill of possibility mingling with apprehension, a pang of excitement coursing through him. The jungle transformed into a labyrinth of promise as they moved forward, each step filled with the lessons learned from close encounters. Fear and exhilaration danced together like shadows flickering in the firelight. Yet every rustle reminded him of the very real dangers ahead. If they were caught now, it would mean the end of everything they had fought for, their partnership, their survival, and the hope of a future filled with freedom. As they reached the base of the Torvian ship, looming ominously against the backdrop of a twilight sky, Jake's heart thudded loudly in his chest. Excitement battled against trepidation, his emotions roiling like a tempest as he stepped cautiously toward their potential freedom. "Keep your eyes open," he instructed Shadow, tension lingering as they ventured closer. They crept along, hidden within the shadows of ferns and shrubs, carefully observing the patrols of Torvians moving in synchronized patterns, their sharp weapons glinting ominously in the dim light, presenting a consistent threat to their plans. Suddenly, an alarm shattered the calm, an ear-piercing wail that sent Jake's heart racing, a jolt of fear coursing through him. "They've spotted us!" he shouted, his disbelief erupting into raw panic as Torvians scrambled in alert, their previously nonchalant demeanor shifting to one of urgent authority. "Follow me," Jake urged, adrenaline thrumming in his veins as they pressed onward into the heart of the ship, uncertainty nipping at their heels while hope blossomed within him. Together, they dashed toward the entrance, hearts pounding in sync with the rhythm of their resolve. Ducking and weaving through the towering underbrush, every step taken felt like a matter of life or death. When they finally reached the entrance of the ship, Jake pushed the door open with a mix of dread and exhilaration, desperately hoping to find their freedom inside. What awaited them was a vast expanse of organized chaos. Complex machinery and advanced technology filled the room, pulsating with vibrant lights and strange sounds. Jake gaped in awe. The sheer enormity of it was breathtaking, and regardless of his initial awe, he felt urgency prickling at him. Driven by purpose, he urged Shadow onward. "We need to find the control room." They pressed deeper into the ship, dodging confusion as they navigated the chaotic interior. Alarms blared incessantly, lights flashing in erratic patterns, and the ship's mechanical systems felt overwhelming as confusion and excitement swirled around him. Instinct kick-started into action as they approached the command room doorway, trembling hands ready to push forward, utterly breathless. "There, that's it," Jake exclaimed, a wave of hope surging through him. With urgency propelling him, he bolted inside, panting, his heart racing as an array of buttons and flickering screens beckoned him forward. "If we can figure this out, we can escape. We have to." Frantically, he began pressing buttons, heart throbbing with fierce anticipation. As systems whirred to life and the ship trembled underfoot, Jake felt exhilaration wash over him. This was the moment he had been waiting for. "Prepare for launch," Jake hollered, adrenaline coursing through him, knowing they were close. Oh, so close. The engines responded with a powerful roar, building intensity as the ship shook gently beneath them. Jake prepared himself for the ride of freedom, the uncertainty of what lay ahead resting heavily on his chest, ready to break free from the chains that had held him captive for too long. The engines hummed to life with a visceral intensity as Jake's heart quickened, the atmosphere around him thick with anticipation. Everything he had fought for led to this pivotal moment, the ship responding to his commands in a rush of electricity, like a trembling bowstring waiting to be released. But as the systems initiated their checks, the Torvians moved closer outside the control room, expressions transforming from shock to disbelief. "What have you done?" one shouted, its voice a blend of horror and authority. "Listen, please," Jake cried out, stepping forward with urgency. "This creature and I are not enemies. We have survived together. I've seen firsthand the potential of what working together can accomplish." The Torvians hesitated, shocked by the sight before them. A human standing confidently beside a beast once deemed monstrous. "You defied us," another Torvian shouted incredulously. Yet Jake could see their expressions shifting, uncertainty revealing cracks in their previously hard demeanor. "Why should we believe you?" one demanded, its skepticism unmistakable, a tone that reverberated with tension. "Because we fought together. We've overcome tremendous obstacles in this strange environment," Jake asserted, his voice steady despite the adrenaline racing through him. "Let's harness our combined strengths. Together we can learn, grow, and thrive rather than continue this cycle of conflict." The Torvians exchanged uneasy glances, their previous aggression melting into confusion and introspection, seeking answers that bestowed hope rather than anger. Jake felt a desperate desire to convince them of the clear path ahead. "What do you propose, human?" one finally asked, its tone cautious yet beginning to shimmer with curiosity and intrigue. Hope surged through Jake's heart, flooding him with a renewed sense of purpose. "An alliance. Let's pool our resources. Think of what we could build together, an alliance driven not by fear but by mutual understanding," he urged, desperation resonating in his pleas as he desperately sought to forge a brighter future. Realizing the weight of his proposal, the Torvians seemed to weigh their options, one stepping forward with a softening demeanor. "Very well, we shall listen," it finally said. The voice edged with curiosity as they collectively assessed the unexpected path laid out before them. Jake felt a glimmer of triumph ignite within him. As they delved into conversation, plans began to take shape, innovative ideas and perspectives blossoming as resources and technology were shared. The weight of their shared burdens lightened, and laughter began to mingle with insights, creating a dynamic atmosphere that fostered flourishing trust among them. Jake remained focused on the negotiations, feeling proud as walls fell away and trust finally began to blossom. The old barriers of division melted under the warmth of compassion, promising a bright, boundless future rising from previously suppressed grievances. In the weeks that followed, Jake transformed into a beacon of hope within the community he helped cultivate. He had transitioned from the frightened human sent to die into an ambassador, one who bridged worlds across the vast chasm of understanding. The Torvians began reaching out, eager to learn from his experiences, while he absorbed their rich culture and shared tales in return, forming an extraordinary bond with those who had once regarded him as prey. Together, they ventured into the wild, launching missions that showcased the strengths of both species. Each day brought an additional layer to their collaboration. Endless discoveries blossomed forth, laughter often accompanying their explorations. Jake frequently marveled at the way two seemingly different beings could converge, becoming an unstoppable force united by shared aspirations. The morning sun illuminated their latest mission as they gathered around Jake one bright day. "Today we'll gather supplies," he declared, excitement bubbling within his chest. "Let me show you the tracking techniques I perfected while I was lost in this wild terrain." As they trekked through the vibrant jungles, Jake encouraged the Torvians to assist him in foraging. "Here, you can help me create traps using the materials around us. It's all about understanding the behavior of the animals we're hunting," he explained, feeling the spark of camaraderie ignite within the group. The Torvians grew enthusiastic, sharing stories while experimenting with different hunting techniques Jake suggested. He felt the thrill of collaboration pulse through him, as if they were creating a tapestry of experience woven from the threads of unique talents. One particular evening, their community gathered around a crackling bonfire, warmth radiating as shadows danced wildly in the flickering flames. "There was a time when I didn't think I could ever belong anywhere," Jake shared, his voice echoing across the intimate circle. "The city seemed so loud and lonely. Yet here, I finally don't feel isolated. I have friends, shared experiences, and hope in ways I never thought possible. Laughter mingled with echoes of shared tales, dissolving the barriers that had once divided their worlds. Jake transcended the differences between humanity and the Torvians, forging connections that bridged their existences into a deeper unity, a new family born from adversity. "Tonight, let's celebrate our victories," Jake announced, raising a glass filled with a colorful concoction derived from alien fruits radiating vibrant hues. "To new beginnings, to unity and friendship, together we shall thrive." Cheers erupted, voices blending in a powerful harmony of hope and unity. The air buzzed with an infectious energy. Shadows swirled as old grievances dissipated, replaced by laughter and acceptance, an embodiment of what it meant to exist in collaboration. Standing beside Shadow, Jake felt a profound sense of gratitude wash over him. This journey had stripped him of everything he once held dear, yet it had gifted him with something infinitely more profound, a purpose defined by connection reaching far beyond mere survival. He had embraced the wild, and together they would build a joyful, united, and resilient future. As they gazed up at the splendor of the stars unfolding before them, Jake felt their hopes flourish in unity. United as friends, allies, and comrades, he stood resolutely alongside Shadow, once merely a creature that had inspired fear, now a loyal companion and fierce protector. What lay ahead was a future filled with endless possibilities, a testament to the strength of friendship that could flourish against all odds. Today, they were no longer merely a human and a creature trapped in a wild. They became pioneers, ready to venture bravely into uncharted territories together, hand in paw, forging new destinies in a world that had once seemed so foreign.